Gucci Girl Shoes, that's what we're talking about today. Right, I mean, look, we have spoken about bling, bling, bling and the need to be seen and branded stuff for quite some time during a lot of the videos. This is just a specific name for them. You know, when I think about it, it's just falling us beautiful, lovely ladies, especially our young ones. And I've mentioned this before as well, where, you know, we're falling into the trap of marketing, dare I say, the marketing trap of branding. Got to wear the branded glasses, got to wear the branded clothing, got to wear the, you know, branded blah, 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 whatever it is. It's the bling, bling people that are among us. Now, am I saying be a slob, don't look after yourself? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You know, it's more about where we have got to the point of needing to start changing, having to change, and it's that need thing again, isn't it? It's like this is really where my gauge always kicks in, is like, when does it become a need? If it's a need, then I've got to go, we've got to get our, you know, our Sherlock shoes on and start going, really, what's that about? Let's start questioning that. Like, why do I have a need to wear those shoes? Why do I have a need to wear my Gucci Girl shoes? So that I feel loved, that I feel accepted. Like, if I didn't wear that, would they not accept me? No, probably not. But just to be on the safe side, I will. And of course, we're therefore also conditioned by our marketing, where it constantly says you'll be appreciated, loved more if you know, look a certain way, behave a certain way, you know, have this done to your body. So it could be implants, it could be tattoos, it could be piercings, it can be branding of clothes, it can be, you know, wearing you know, I've got to be seen with my, you know, my branded glasses, my branded bag. It can be and I pay an absolute, the phones, you know, your phones, your devices now, which has now become an extension of the person, hasn't it? You know, and I listen to even some of the young ones at school, and I'm talking like 10, 11 and up, and it's just like, oh, she's only got a, you know, an iPhone 8 or whatever, and years to come, people will look at this video and go, oh my gosh, what? There was an iPhone 8? But, you know, that it's just like, oh, scorn, you know. And it's like, you know, someone that we saw recently the other day, she doesn't even have a phone. And it's like, oh, shame, are you poor, you know? And it's just like, no, she's not poor. She's got an iPad and she's got a, you know, I don't know if it's an Apple watch, but she's got a Fitbit kind of watch. And but there's immediately like a judgment, a casting down. It's like, oh, shame, they just don't have any money. Oh, the chariot that they drive, you know, it's like, what kind of car, you know. And I mean, I've got to share a really funny story. When I used to have my own design studio, my guys would not go in the car with me. I always had to, if we had staff functions, the boss got picked up in their car, because I always would weigh up. I'd go, well, do I want a really fancy car, or do I want to pay for a programmer or a designer who's actually going to earn me money? And guess which one won? Now, you see, I've never really been a huge brand person, you know, Gucci Girl per se. I'm sure I was when I was growing up more. But it was more, you know, of course, because in your formative years, especially in your teens, it's all about how you look, and you want to look more attractive or most attractive to the opposite sex, so that you can draw in a partner, you know. I get that. I do totally get that. But it was more a case in Zimbabwe, where because of the sanctions that had been imposed on the country, there was no branded material. So you were just friggin' lucky to get something. So like, you go to the shops, and I remember, like, you know, it would be hot chat, like they would have, like, I'm going to get really gross here, ladies, granny knickers. So, you know, those knickers where they go right up to the side, you know, like that. And I mean, like, you're a teenager, you don't really want to be wearing those. So if you found a pair of normal briefs, or, you know, jockeys, or whatever you want to call them, which we didn't really have there because that was a branded thing, and it was in your size, you didn't even care about the color. If they were in your size, it was, mate, go to this shop, they've got our knickers. So we'd flock, you know, a group of buddies, we go off and we buy our normal knickers, not granny knickers, you know. So it wasn't about brand. And I've always struggled with the brand thing, because quite often we had mixed brands in Zimbabwe, because, you know, like, I remember my dad had a Mazda 323, which was like a big thing, you know, back then. And but if you open the bonnet of that car, I tell you what, it was, you know, a bit of Nissan, a bit of Datsun, it was a bit of, you know, probably Mercedes, because they were all the bits and pieces that they could find, because we couldn't even get parts in. So under the hood, Lord knows what it actually was. It did get us from A to B, and on the outside it looked very nice. You know, it was a Mazda 323, so, you know, and that was big, you know, big stuff, because you didn't get to pick your car. They would, the car dealers would say, we have a car, do you want it, yes or no? And it got to a point where they would auction it, and whoever was the highest bidder would actually get it. So it's not like, you know, the plethora of choice that we have now. How blessed are we that we can go into a supermarket and see rows and rows of cereal, you know, and rows of food, or you go into a car dealership and you have a choice, and it's like, you go to, like, we've got a place up the road and it's all Audis, but all different types of Audis. Well, not in Zimbabwe. You were lucky if there was one car. Quite often the dealerships didn't have any cars. You ordered in advance, and they'd say, well, at the end of the year we've got this one that's coming in, we're doing an auction, who's going to buy it will be the highest bidder. Okay, and that's pretty much how it, so for branding, to me, was never really a big thing. It was more about, you know, dressing as well as you could, making the most of what you have, but without, like, we did do false nails, which, oh god, you know, I now look back and I just my niece was telling me the other day how she remembers, you know, me for my false nails, and how when they came round to the house that she would put these on, because, like, that would make her a big girl, you know, and all this. And I was just like, oh my gosh, because I remember one time where we had all of these for a friend of ours' wedding, and we were helping getting all the food out, and her sister had some false nails on, and she came back without one, and it was in somebody's mashed potato. And I just was like, oh, it's so classic. So it was just the joys of false nails that just got stuck on. But this is the whole thing. It's like, what's that whole need? You know, we're just actually really, is someone really not going to love you because you don't have false nails on? Wouldn't they love you more because you don't have the false nails on, because this is who you really are? So this is where I want us to get back to our authentic selves. Make the most of what we do have. Be the best version of yourself. But without starting to do all the altering and the, you know, stuff, because it can be dangerous as well, you know. And that is more, you know, a thing. Not only the hits that I'm seeing now, young ones coming through and seeing me, you know, with just really low self-esteem, because they're trying to be something that they just aren't, and they're trying to change what they have already. Like, there was a girl not so long ago, honestly, she had to be in her early 20s, and I'm sure she's had work done, and I was like, what, you know, she was gorgeous. She was a gorgeous girl already. And I was like, that's such a shame that you felt that you needed to have to do that in order to feel what, more loved or appreciated. Her lips, her cheeks looked like they had been done, looked like her eyebrows, you know, had been lifted. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe she was like that, but you know, you can kind of tell because they can't smile properly, you know. And I'll let you know this as well, if you do collagen and whatever injections and stuff like that, they have now started linking depression to that, because you know how I talk about changing your state. If you want to go back and watch my video on state changes. Actually, there's 3. You can do that in the YouTube channel or in the Facebook. Do hashtag state shoes, and this will give you an insight on like the importance of how to change your state in order to change how you feel. And this is one of the things that they have now researched and found out, that because the muscles in the face get paralyzed, and they do it up here as well and down the sides, because they can't smile properly, it's actually affecting the way that they feel. So they can't feel the joy that they used to, because the body can't actually express it anymore. So when it starts affecting your emotions, your you know, how depressed you are, you know, how happy it's going to make you feel, if you don't feel that you're going to be loved and accepted because you don't have X, Y, and Z, you know, that you're overspending because you've got to have the Gucci bag or the Louis Vuitton or the fancy glass or whatever it is, you know. It's wonderful to have that. If you've got spare money in the bank, yes, great. But a lot of people are going into debt because of it, so that they can try and keep up. It's keeping up with the Joneses, you know, as they say, and trying to go that extra, feeling like they have to. I have to do this in order to feel loved, feel accepted, feel part of the crowd, feel part of the herd, you know. Like at some point you're going to be going, well, you know, a real partner is going to love me for who I am, isn't he, really, at the end of the day? And I'm not saying slob city, definitely not. Make the most of it, but of what you've got, and be the best version that you can possibly be. Honestly do. And I'm here to help you, you know, with that as well, to get you in your own shoes, on your own path, going your own way. And if you're on your own path, how can we speed up how you want to, you know, where you want to get faster? So we're going to start looking at stuff like that too. But all of this can be a hindrance to where you actually want to go, because if you don't even know who or what you are, and that's really what I find lands up happening, is that people land up going, well, who am I really? If I'm all this false stuff, then who am I? And this is all about this whole self-discovery journey, is like, you know, who am I really? What are my shoes? Which ones are the ones I actually want to wear? And, you know, if I wore those, would it be okay with everybody else? And if not, how am I going to be okay with wearing them and letting those kind of people go? Because do you really want to spend the rest of your life going on a path going that way when you're actually wanting to go in a completely separate direction? So look, I hope you found that useful. Yeah, it's really something that I get, you know, challenged by daily, if I'm honest, with all our ads. I see the impact that it's having on our young ones, and even, you know, other older, you know, older ladies, you know, not old, but we're not old. Yeah, I told one of my friends the other day, you know, you can't tell me I'm old until I'm at least 90, so don't put me in the old category until then. So yeah, you know, we'll have that discussion then, shall we? And hopefully I'll still be able to do all my videos for you as well. So yes, have a little think, because if this is affecting you, maybe you can go, well, is it worth me going into debt for that? Why am I wanting to put those shoes on, like, you know, my Gucci Girl shoes on? What's the real driver that's sitting behind it? And then, like, is that serving you? We know what the payoff is, obviously, is to be included and loved and accepted and admired, and, you know, it's status symbol and whatever else it is. But it's the why. Why do you have to have that? You know, and if that, are you at that point where it's like, well, actually, who am I, and what do I actually want to do, and who am I really, and will people love me for who I am? And, you know, and start getting clear on what your shoes in your closet really need to be. What you know, the real need is quite often different from the false need. You know, what everybody else is telling you, you need this. It's to fill the coffers in the bank. It's to fill whatever, you know, societal expectation is. So let's not fall into that trap. Let's just go, okay, I'm just going to take a little step back. And look, you don't even have to make a big announcement about it. Just have a little think about it today, will you? Just like go, do you know what I did? I spent like, you know, $600 on a pair of shoes, or you know, a pair of glasses or whatever. And you know, maybe fine if you're going to wear them for 10 years or 15 years, then that's not a problem, you know, or whatever it is. But just go, well, do I really want that in the long run? Have a think. Hope you found that useful. Namaste.